3 years ago, West Ham United won a European trophy. 60,000 fans packed the London Stadium for European nights. Declan Rice was sold for over £100 million and the future looked promising. And now they are fighting, genuinely fighting, to avoid the championship. Not in a "oh, they had a bad run" kind of way. In a "the supercomputer gave them a near 50% chance of going down" kind of way. 14 consecutive seasons in the Premier League, and this is where they are. So let's not dance around it. How did this actually happen, and what does it look like if it does? Because the version people assume, bad luck, bad managers, they'll sort it, misses the real story entirely. The real story is about a club whose ambition outpaced its foundations by a terrifying margin. And if West Ham go down, the consequences are not just embarrassing, they are existential. If you enjoy football content that actually gets into the detail behind stories like this, consider subscribing. This one is just getting started. To understand where West Ham are now, you need to go back to 2016. That was the year they left Upton Park, their home for over 100 years, for the London Stadium. The pitch was sold hard, bigger crowds, bigger revenue, bigger ambitions. 62,000 seats, a 9-figure arrangement with the stadium operators, and a vision of Premier League permanence. David Sullivan and Karen Brady told anyone who would listen that West Ham were moving up in the world. And for a while, they were not entirely wrong. They reached a Europa League semi-final, won the Conference League in Prague in 2023, and Declan Rice became one of the best midfielders in the country. The problem is what happened next. Rice left for Arsenal for over £100 million, a record sale, and the club essentially spent that money before it arrived. Every fan of a club that sold its best player and was promised the proceeds would be reinvested knows exactly how that story tends to end. The summer of 2024 brought in a wave of signings. Max Kilman for £40 million, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Crysencio Summerville, Nicholas Füllkrug. The wage bill climbed from £161 million to £176 million in a single year. And the club, despite spending like a side expecting European football, finished 14th. Then came this season, and the wheels came off entirely. West Ham opened with a 3-0 defeat at newly promoted Sunderland on day one. The very next home game, Chelsea put 5 past them, and Lucas Paquetá's thunderbolt opener inside 6 minutes was just the punchline setup. Lopetegui had been sacked in January 2025 after just 6 months in charge. Graham Potter took over mid-season, they limped to 14th again, and then Potter was out too before the next season had barely started. Nuno Espirito Santo arrived in late September 2025, the third manager in essentially 12 months at the same club. By that point, West Ham were entrenched in the bottom 3, and a fan base told for years the London Stadium was the future started asking uncomfortable questions out loud. Some supporters boycotted the home game against Brentford in protest at the ownership, leaving thousands of empty seats visible on live television. Jarrod Bowen, the captain, was physically held back from confronting supporters after a cup exit at Wolves, and something about that image tells you everything about the temperature inside the club. Would you have kept Graham Potter longer, or was sacking him mid-season the right call? But here is the part people miss when they talk about West Ham's season. The on-pitch problems are not the crisis, they are the symptom. Their counts are the crisis. In 2024-25, West Ham posted a pre-tax loss of £104 million. The year before, they posted a £57 million profit. That is a £161 million swing in a single financial year. Revenue dropped 16%, wages went up 9%, and the club owes £196 million to other clubs in outstanding transfer installments. Finance expert Kieran Maguire laid it out publicly. Total squad cost approaching £500 million, accumulated losses over the years sitting at £312 million, palliated losses over the years sitting at £312 million. The board themselves used the phrase liquidity shortfall in their own documents to describe a potential outcome this summer. So here is the question nobody wants to answer out loud. What does the West Ham squad actually look like come August if they go down? Because the assumption is that relegation is painful but survivable. Parachute payments, a season away, then back. That assumption is precisely what we need to look at more closely because the numbers tell a very different story. West Ham would receive parachute payments. That much is true. Having been in the Premier League for more than 3 consecutive seasons, they qualify for the maximum, split across 3 years. Roughly 55% of the equal share in year 1, 45 in year 2, and 25 in year 3. In cash terms, the first-year payment lands somewhere around £40 million. The gap between their Premier League central funding, over £130 million, and what the Championship provides is not a gap, it is a canyon. Finance expert Adam Williams put the total first-year revenue hit at roughly £65 million once you factor in commercial and matchday income. And then there is the wage bill. West Ham's first-team squad have 50% salary reduction clauses in their contracts, standard practice, and theoretically a protection mechanism. At a wage bill of £176 million, that is roughly £88 million in potential savings on paper. But here is the reversal nobody talks about. Those clauses do not keep players at the club. They give players the contractual justification to leave. When a Premier League winger on serious money has his wages halved, he has every incentive to find a buyer, and every right to be unhappy about it. The clause designed to protect West Ham financially is the same mechanism that would empty their squad. And the squad they would be gutting is not cheap depth. It is their actual first team. Jarrod Bowen is 29, under contract until 2030, the club captain, and by some distance their best player. Every credible transfer source agrees, if West Ham go down, the scramble for Bowen would be extraordinary. The family ties are real. His wife Danny Dyer's daughter, roots them deeply in London, but clubs do not let sentiment beat a Premier League contract offer. Crysencio Summerville is 24, signed for £25 million after refusing to stay with Leeds when they were relegated, and that precedent rather speaks for itself. Paquetá has spent the better part of this season trying to engineer a move to Flamengo, with David Sullivan reportedly demanding close to £50 million for a player Flamengo simply cannot afford. Then there is Tomáš Souček, Jean-Claire Todibo, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, all on wages north of £80,000 a week, all with every reason to move on. West Ham would be selling into a buyer's market at the worst possible moment while servicing nearly £200 million in outstanding debt to other clubs. Would Jarrod Bowen actually stay if West Ham went down, or is he simply too good for the Championship? On the other side, the players who might stay, Freddie Potts, Ezra Mayers, Oliver Skulls, are promising prospects, not a squad capable of challenging for automatic promotion in year 1. Former Aston Villa CEO Christian Purslow noted something that tends to go unmentioned in these conversations. David Gold's family still holds a stake in West Ham, and that stake has been on the market for some time. His point was that if West Ham are relegated, selling that stake becomes even more difficult, and when a quarter of a business is stuck in limbo, raising capital gets considerably more complicated. Forbes currently values the club at around £900 million. That valuation is built, in no small part, on Premier League membership. Drop out, and that number moves, and not in a useful direction for anyone trying to sell or invest. There is a version of this where West Ham go down, sell Bowen and Summerville for combined serious money, use parachute payments wisely, and come back the way Sam Allardyce's side did via the playoffs in 2012. But that version requires steady ownership, a clear transfer strategy, and a manager empowered to build something. West Ham have had 3 managers in 12 months and have publicly admitted structural friction at the top for years. The London Stadium was supposed to be the symbol of everything West Ham wanted to become. Bigger gates, bigger players, bigger nights, bigger ambitions than the bowling ground could contain. And the bitter irony is that the very scale of that ambition, the spending, the wages, the expectation, is precisely what makes a fall so much harder to absorb. They did not just leave Upton Park for a bigger stage. They built a financial structure that only works if you stay on it.